This is KCRA 3. We begin with breaking news.
And we continue to stay on breaking news out of Calaveras County, where a wildfire has already forced evacuations in the community of Copperopolis. Highway 4 has been shut down as crews battle this fire. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Gulston Dart.
And I'm Andrea Flores. This is one of a handful of fires we are monitoring right now. There are mandatory evacuations issued along Highway 4 from Copperopolis, and they extend north. So here's a look at the map. You can see in red there, that's where we're seeing those evacuations. And there are several evacuation orders in the community surrounding the fires as well. So if you live in this area, crews are asking you to be prepared.
Let's show you a little bit of what this looks like. Lifecopter 3 was over the wildfire. This started near Arrow and Hunt roads. Look at the smoke here. Highway 4 is closed between Coppertown Square and Pool Station Road. Again, this is video that we shot from the past hour from above. Lifecopter had to stop to fuel up, and they'll be back up in the air as soon as possible, getting us the latest pictures.
And in Sacramento County, a grass fire burned hundreds of acres. Lifecopter 3 was over the fire near Douglas Road. You can see some huge flames here. Again, these are images that you'll only see from Lifecopter 3 right here on KCRA 3.
All right, let's go to KCRA 3's Brittany Hope joins us live right now down at ground level. So you've got your mask on, lots of wind out there, and I can imagine you're having to breathe in a lot of that stuff as well as what you're seeing out there, Brittany.
The fire is really producing a lot of smoke, and that's because there's just so much dry grass. So, hey, we have good news and bad news. Let's start with the good news. Just moments ago, the helicopter came back and is able to do water drops. We know that it had to leave to refuel. It has been busy the past few days, especially today as these north winds have kicked up. Now, the bad news, yeah, this fire has moved a lot. So if you were with us at 5 o'clock, we went on air right at 5:15. We were about 0.8 miles north of where we are on Sunrise. And that's where the fire was there. That's where really the focus was now. We moved south on Sunrise, 0.8 miles, and it has really traveled. We've seen it sometimes, some really powerful flames, feet in the air come. Now, to my left over here, what you're looking at, we have a little bit of a canal, and then we have a little bit of a raise there over that hill. On the other side is grasslands and a golf course that is burning. So there are some natural breaks, and we're really hoping, fire crews are hoping that those are all going to come into play. So we have the canal, we have this fence, we have Kiefer Boulevard back behind me. Again, that's closed. So they're hoping that that can prove to be some sort of a natural break, because what they don't want to happen, it's so windy, I'm sure you can hear it in the microphone too, they don't want an ember to fly over that way into the grass, because all behind there you can see it's all those new developed homes. We've talked to a lot of people who have been standing along here saying, hey, do you think I have to evacuate? What's going on? At this point, there's no evacuation warnings or orders. That's because the north wind is really pushing this thing south and keeping it in the grass. Again, a big help is the chopper, and we just heard it came back. So I think it's just really right now going over the fire, trying to map it out to see where the hot spots are. This is a wonderful shot for you. This is a critical tool, and we're lucky that the fire is burning at the canal, because it's easy for it to just pick up that water and drop it on the flame. Having a water source this close is really going to be a blessing here for fire crews.
Well, just a moment ago, we pulled over our car so that we could put this live shot up and show you what we're seeing. I believe on either side of my shoulders right now, you can see some of these flames that are burning for this Arrow fire. Yes, on either side, to our left and to our right. Not only do we see this thick gray smoke in the air, but there are sections where we can see flames even from this distance away. Just for some context, we are right in front of the Copperopolis sign. We just passed into Calaveras County just a few moments ago, and I want to direct your attention to our right. Alan, if we could show you just how close this is to so many folks. We've got this Shell station just in front of us, and you'll notice just how many people are pulled over at this point. And Alan, let's show them this too. To keep going a little farther, we can see those flags off in the distance, just to give you a sense of how windy it is out here at this point. And where we're standing right now is some of this dry grass that we have been talking about, this vegetation throughout our area as we've been covering fires now for days. I want to point out one more thing. We know that some folks have been evacuated, and there are some resources for people who have large animals. Just over my shoulder, you can see 2 horses and a truck where they have one has to assume evacuated and are moving their animals and their loved ones to somewhere safe as fire crews do fight this fire. The Calaveras County Sheriff's Office making sure that people have resources as Highway 4 is closed between Coppertown Square and Pool Station Road, and they have set up some evacuation centers for folks who do need that. The Valley Springs Veterans Hall, a resource. Domestic animals can be taken there. Livestock do need to go to the county fairgrounds. That's over on Frogtown Road in Angels Camp. We have just in the last few minutes seen these aircraft flying in the air. We haven't seen a water dump or a retardant dump from where we're standing. Again, we just pulled over because we just wanted to be sure that after watching these pictures come in from our Live Copter 3, we wanted to show you what folks are seeing on the ground here right now. And again, this thick smoke has been visible for almost our entire drive in down from Sacramento County down here to Copperopolis, as we are going to keep tabs and keep an eye on this fire that has burned about 1,000 acres at this point. So we're going to work to gather some more information. Again, seeing this smoke, seeing folks outside who are really just trying to adjust as needed and to make sure that everything is going okay. I do believe we want to stay on this helicopter that is just over us now to see what that is going to do. And perhaps you can even hear the wind in the microphone, just how fast it and how strong it's blowing out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just in front of this road closure.
You know, Leanne, as we have you there, we'll keep you on the air with us. I mean, we can hear the wind blowing your microphone, and we can also see the wind blowing that smoke towards you and your photographer there. And you're giving us a great shot there from where you are at ground level. And we can see the helicopter disappearing below that ridge there, as I'm sure they're tending to one of the fire areas there. And I'm just wondering if now's a good time we can go to Live Copter 3 to get up and show you what we're talking about from the air. Live Copter 3 just refueled and is heading right back to the area of operations in a safe area where we can bring you continuing coverage of the Arrow fire. And what we saw there on the ground, Andrea, with where Leanne was, you could just see how busy it was with people trying to tend to their animals and get them to a safe place, and also fire crews from the air and from the ground trying to get to the area where they can make the most impact and stop the forward progress of this fire that last word was about 1,000 acres, but that was an hour ago. And so we know just with the winds that this has certainly grown past that.
This is just into our newsroom. This is an update from the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office. The fire status at this point has reached roughly 1,500 acres. 5,000 residents in this area are now without power. We have some road closures. Highway 4 at Little John Road is closed at this point. Also, Highway 4 at Oberness Ferry is closed. And so we know that crews have been working on this for the last several hours to try and put out the flames. And it looks like it is starting to inch closer to where we're seeing obviously some traffic there. We've seen residents in the area who appear to have been evacuated, keeping an eye on where the fire is spreading. In the distance there, we have also seen a property or two. So Golston, this thing is moving, and we can hear the winds that are really pushing this thing along.
Yeah, and this is a really good way to show you exactly what's happening from Live Copter 3 as we take that now fully in your TV screen there. You can see Highway 4 there. You can see where the fire, the smoke is in relationship to Highway 4. And we can also tell you that Highway 4 is closed where it is at Pool Station Road. Pool Station Road at Highway 4 is closed. So you can also just get an idea as we kind of move the camera around, and the template shows you where Highway 4, it's completely covered in that particular section right there by smoke, and there's flames up there in that area where you can see the smoke is starting to emanate from. In some instances, we've actually, as we've zoomed in, have been able to see some of the flames in there. And this area is sparsely populated, but there are different kinds of homesteads and farmsteads, people who have a little bit of land up there and have a little bit of a spread. So we know that you mentioned, Andrea, that we have now residents up there without power, and we have residents who are being told to evacuate right now in this evacuation order zone.
That's right. And speaking of the evacuation order, we know that the areas of Coppertown Square and Oberness Ferry Road to the county line are now under an evacuation order at this point. All residents have been ordered to immediately evacuate. So if you are watching at home and you live in this area, you do want to get out immediately. immediately. We can see here just how much smoke this fire is putting up. There are evacuation centers at the Valley Springs Veterans Hall. This is for residents west of Town Square. This is on Pine Street in Valley Springs. We also know that there is another evacuation center at Mark Twain Elementary School. This is for anyone who lives east of Pool Station. Also, we know domestic animals can be taken to Bret Harte High School. Livestock can be taken to the Calaveras County Fairgrounds there in that area. So we know that the Red Cross is already on the way to those evacuation centers to provide assistance, but we have seen folks just pulled over to the side of the road with their animals and their loved ones trying to see exactly what's going to happen next.
Yeah, this is still a developing situation, and I'm wondering if we can talk to Leanne there on the ground if she's available right now. She may be getting some information from some officials there on the ground, but let's see if we can talk to Leanne right now. You are kind of right there where there's a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely, Golston, and yeah, it's certainly been a busy couple of minutes since we've pulled over so that we could get you not only the shot from Live Copter 3, but a shot on the ground as well. Primarily, though, we have been seeing folks just turning around at this road closure and a couple of aircraft from where we're standing flying over the smoke. I think the thing that's most notably different, though, is if you look towards this smoke, earlier we could see the side of the hills and see some of the flames coming through, but now the smoke is so thick that it's really difficult to see anything other than smoke from where we're standing right here. And it does appear that the wind is pushing it sort of to the right, sort of towards this shopping center that we're not too far from at this point over on Little John Road. Again, like you mentioned, lots of people have just sort of pulled over, watching, waiting to see what's going to happen. This, of course, as authorities are blocking Highway 4, this thoroughfare through the area, trying to make sure that everybody is in a place that they are going to be safe as firefighters do work on this fire that, like you mentioned, has now grown in those acres that it has burned at this point. Just over to our left, on the other side of the road, we can see more people evacuating their horses. More people have pulled over, again, just trying to get everybody in place, get where they need to go so that they can keep people safe. Just again, in the last couple of seconds, even just while we've been talking to you. Oh, Alan, let's go ahead and show them that. See that fire that's poking through on the hillside. We can just start to see it again. Like I mentioned, there are times when this dark gray smoke is so thick that we haven't been able to see the flames, but when you do, you can see that they are quite large and burning this way. So again, keeping an eye on things out here, of course, very windy, and working to gather more information from authorities. But in these situations, they're actively working on the incident, so we're going to be sure to relay anything we can get from them to you as you all try to figure out where you need to be to keep you and your loved ones safe. We'll send it on back to you for now.
Absolutely, and thank you so much. And as we just saw, it just really speaks to the urgency of folks trying to get out of there. We can see that pickup truck with that horse, just not even a carriage
and
there.
did you see how dark it was right there behind Leanne? So you can just tell the smoke is coming in from the fire. There's a really good shot of a drop there along Rock Creek Road, which we've been focusing on that area. There's a little bit of flames up there in the top of the image right there. So they're trying to make sure and create an area where this is going to stop forward progress there at Rock Creek Road, Highway 4. A lot to talk about. Of course, what's the weather going to do with all this? We'll be checking back with Heather on that and much more continuing coverage of the Arrow fire and other fires breaking out in our area today.
Welcome back. We continue to track conditions around the Arrow fire in western Calaveras County, and of course the overall wind conditions throughout Northern California, fanning several grass fires at this point. But Live Copter 3 showing us kind of the front line of one of the edges of one of the perimeters of the Arrow fire here, and you can see right now the fire burning along pretty quickly in some grass, but there is this mix of some brush and some smaller trees in here as well. We've occasionally seen the flames reach some of these bigger fuel areas, and we've seen the fires kind of grow relatively quickly here. Also, a lot of smoke. Notice the smoke being quickly pushed from the left side of your screen over to the right side of your screen. That's moving with the winds, which have been gusting in this area anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per hour. Broader view shows, again, other burned areas with this same fire, now over 1,500 acres. Notice lots of smoke here getting elevated all along the area burned by the fire. So we'll be tracking air quality through this evening as well.
Back to that breaking news, the Arrow fire. That's what it's been named. This is the fire that's been burning in Calaveras County all day today. It started out, I think the first time we reported it was around 50 acres, maybe that. Now it's over 1,500. That's at last count. And we continue to watch the fires. It's being pushed along by the north winds. And this is an interesting shot here as you see the fire line that's being cut here by these planes that are dropping fire retardant, trying to keep the fire burning in what looks like kind of a long strip. And we've been watching these tankers. There's another one of the big tankers coming in, just getting finished laying down some fire retardant. We do know that there are some evacuations orders that have already gone out for Coppertown Square and Auburn's Ferry Road out to the county line. And we have various evacuation centers set up as well. And there you can see the New Melones Reservoir there at the top. And this gives you an idea as we put in the overlay here. You can see where Highway 4 is blocked right now because of fire operations. Rock Creek Road also blocked because of fire operations, when we've seen plenty of fire burning there along the lines, but it looks like they've been trying to lay down these north-south type strips, Andrea, to try to keep the fire from moving out of where it's been going.
Absolutely. You can see it right here. I mean, you see the fire retardant and then you see the fire line there, and they're running exactly side by side. And this fire is putting up a lot of smoke. We should mention at least 5,000 residents in this area are also without power at this point. So again, not only are they dealing with evacuations and evacuation warnings, but also power outages in that area as well. And we are continuing to follow this. Again, these live images from Live Copter 3. This fire, as you mentioned, started at just around 40 acres and has really grown in size since then. We're continuing to keep an eye on that. But we also want to get to some other fire activity. We're following some breaking news in Sacramento County, where a grass fire has burned hundreds of acres. Live Copter 3 was over this fire earlier today. Some active flames here near Douglas Road.
Yeah, let's go to Brittany Hope because she's been there on the ground covering this whole thing, and we've been seeing lots of smoke. She's in front of some charred ground right now. I see you're wearing the mask, so I can only guess what it's like out there.
It's a lot of smoke, but hey, we have a lot of updates at this point. So acreage now up to about 350 acres at last check. We are about half of that. So this thing really grew, but what you're looking at behind me, you're looking southbound. That's Kiefer Boulevard. This is what fire crews were really hoping would be that natural fire break. They didn't want it to jump that. You can see literally it stopped at Kiefer, so that's really good. That also means that the wind didn't push the fire this way. Another concern on the other side of the canal is that neighborhood, that development with all those houses. The fire didn't jump that way. Still no evacuations. At this point, we're really in the mop-up phase, and we'll kind of walk you. This is where crews are still working at this point. We still have the chopper, but you can see things like this little twig, this stick that still has some flame on there. You can see the wind is blowing that smoke. These are, even just a little ember from this could really ignite this fire again. So that's why crews are out here still doing water drops. They're using all of their different engines and trucks to make sure that all of those hot spots are put out. And a big tool, again, what's been so great about this is that we're right next to the canal. So we have this chopper that's been able to just continually circling, keep picking up water, and boom, dropping it right on those hot spots just like it did, able to do a few of these every few minutes. So that has been really, really critical out here. But again, we're kind of in this mop-up phase at this point. If you were with us earlier in the newscast, man, you saw those flames that were just taking over. There was tons of smoke. So the good news is it seems like crews really have a handle on this. We're live in May there. Brittany Hope, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, when you can see the blue skies like that behind you, that's a pretty good sign too. Brittany, thank you. All right, we're watching more of the fire suppression activity going on at the Arrow fire in Calaveras County, the big DC-10 that is used by CAL FIRE. It's even got the 10 there on its stabilizer wing there, and it's got its doors open, and it looks like it might be just ready to line up and drop some fire retardant. As we've been watching this go on for several passes now as the aircraft try to create a line that runs along the same way the fire is burning from north to south. Look how low they're getting right there just to line up that fire retardant and get it just exactly right where they want it.
Just incredible to see this view. Now we want to get straight to the ground. Leanne Denyer has moved locations. So Leanne, where are you at right now?
We're on Main Street, about a mile or so from where we last saw you, and I want to show you just what we're seeing out here. You can see that these flames that are burning right here are getting very close to the structure just off of Main Street here. We can see that the sign just to the right of it has burned, but we've been keeping an eye on these flames for just the last few minutes. You can just see some of the char on the ground and just how smoky and just how windy it is out here at this point. And I want to have Alan swing the camera around so you can see these hand crews that are working just on the other side of the street. And like I mentioned, we're only a mile or so from where we last saw you, and it is a completely different scene. You can see just how smoky it is out here, and you can see the smoke in the air and how it's blocking the sun from where we're standing right now. CAL FIRE crews, of course, very much here and working on this fire. We're going to keep an eye on things as they continue to fight it from the air and on the ground. We'll send it on back to you.
All right, Leanne, thank you so much. And we should mention we have an update from CAL FIRE that the fire is now 1,525 acres. Again, this started as a vegetation fire about 2 hours ago, and it has continued to grow in size.
This is KCRA 3. We begin with breaking news.
A busy and dangerous day for fire crews in our area. Several grass fires sparking throughout the day. For some of these, crews were able to get on top of them quickly. Others, though, are still active, proving to be a little bit more difficult. We have video here of just 4 of the fires that we've been on top of today. Thanks for joining us at 7. A lot to get through here. I'm Golson Dar.
And I'm Andrea Flores. One of those fires is causing evacuation orders and warnings. It's burning in Calaveras County near Copperopolis. The fire started near Arrow and Hunt roads. Parts of Highway 4 are closed at this time. We know the fire has burned more than 1,500 acres. You can see the evacuation order and warnings right here on Zone Haven. So here's a look. The zones under the mandatory evacuation order are in red on your screen. These are subject to change. More have been added in the past 15 minutes or so, so you should check on these regularly. The evacuation warnings at this point are in yellow. If you are under evacuation warnings, you need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
Well, let's go to Live Copter 3, which has been giving us some crucial shots of the fire and also the firefight that I know a lot of people in this area are interested in. You can see just under that smoke that's being pushed from north to south by those north winds, you can see a little tinge of the pink there from the fire retardant that has been repeatedly dropped by different kind of aircraft. Just a couple of minutes ago, we saw a DC-10 bringing in what we believe they can hold up to nearly 10,000 gallons of fire retardant, dropping a large amount of it there to try to bolster that area. They don't want the fire to get anywhere past that because there are some homesteads and some farm areas down there. As we zoom in, you can see just one of those areas that are protected, hopefully, by that line of retardant.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen that fire continue to grow over the last few hours. We want to check in now with KCRA 3's Leanne Denyer in Copperopolis. She's been on the ground for several hours now. So, Leanne, I know you were there where crews were fighting the flames. What are you seeing at this point?
We actually had to move a little bit because the smoke is so thick that it can be difficult to see at times. And I want to show you just over on the other side of this vegetation, there is some fire burning, and crews are working to save the structure. That, again, we're in a sort of driveway of sorts. Apologies to whoever property this is. We just had to move to get out of the smoke for a moment. It is very, very smoky out here at this point, and you can see just how quickly it is moving as it is as fire crews are working to get this out. And just everywhere you look, it's this thick smoke, making it, again, difficult to see at some points. And you can just see the impact that it has had on the sun, as there is so much smoke in the area. Like you mentioned, fire crews still working really hard to get this one out, as those evacuation orders are in effect for some of the people who live in this area. We're going to keep an eye on things, and again, really make sure that we're making smart choices, because it is incredibly smoky out here at this point. Back to you.
Live Copter 3 is over the Arrow fire right now, and we are kind of looking southward here as the sun is starting to set, so the west is off to the right there. And this has been moving on a north-south direction, simply because that's how the north winds have been pushing it. And just look at that line of smoke there. We've been watching, Andrea, the fire crews come in there with their planes and leave fire retardant marks there along the leading edge of the fire. There's one of them. We've also, as we've zoomed in from time to time, we've seen different homes and residences in that area.
Yeah, no word yet on any damage to any structures at this point. We know fire crews have been working hard there on the ground and in the air to try and keep that fire away from homes and structures. But as you take a look here, you can see one side of the fire there is some vegetation. The other side of the fire, you can see it is dry, but there are some homes and other properties there. So again, this is burning along Highway 4. We have seen quite a bit of activity. We've been following this since the 4 o'clock hour when it was just about 40 acres. It is now more than 1,500 acres in size. 5,000 residents are without power in this part of town. So we know that there are evacuation orders in place. There are centers where folks can go to. And we want to check back in with KCRA 3's Leanne Denyer because she's been on the ground and has seen just how much smoke this fire has put up. So Leanne, are you still in that same area or have you moved locations?
We've moved just slightly, not too far at all, but you mentioned it. The smoke it just comes in really quickly. And so when we last saw you, it was one of those moments where it just got bad for a second. But I want to show you this. Just a few moments ago, this road sign here did collapse. You can see that the bottom of it, that stake, is burning a little bit still. And I want to show you, as we've been down here, this sign, this banner in front of what we do believe is a business, has disintegrated over the last half an hour or so that we have been in this particular location. We are on Main Street, and you can see just how much fire has come through this area by just the char on the ground and how much smoke it continues to put out. And like I've been saying, I think in every report that we have done from this Arrow fire, it is just incredibly windy out here. And I want to go ahead and spin the camera around this way so you can get a sense of what we're seeing from the other side as this smoke does continue to make its way down this street. This is Highway 4. This intersection is Main Street and Highway 4. And this is what happens. There are just moments where the smoke just envelops the entire area. And again, this is one of those moments where there is just so much smoke, it stings your eyes and it really is difficult to see. But we have been seeing these fire crews make their way up and down Main Street here. They've been going up and down Highway 4 here as CAL FIRE, the Sheriff's Office, and other first responders work to get a hold on this Arrow fire. So we're going to continue to watch things. We're going to see how things develop. But again, for folks who live and work in this area, our hearts are with you, and we're going to do everything we can to bring you live pictures from your community. We'll send it on back to you.